Welcome, welcome. You've clicked on the right video, my friend. This is Yoga with Imaginary Friends, a hilarious journey to Zen. We're about to embark on a journey that's going to make you laugh, stretch, and maybe, just maybe, fart a little. Don't worry, we won't judge. After all, we're all here to have some fun. So if you're ready to reignite the spark of your childhood imagination and bring some laughter into your yoga sessions, you're in the right place. Let's leave all the seriousness at the door and remember it's not about being perfect, it's about having fun. So grab your yoga mat, invite your imaginary friend, and let's get started. Did you ever have an imaginary friend as a child? No, not that imaginary friend who told you to eat your veggies. I'm talking about the one who convinced you to try to fly off the roof with an umbrella. Ah, those were the days. Our imaginary friends, the original influences, leading us into all sorts of hilarious and sometimes dangerous situations. They were the ones who'd dare us to eat a worm or to sneak into the kitchen for that forbidden midnight snack. And sometimes they'd convince us that we could fly as long as we had an umbrella in our hands. Now, as adults, we could use a bit of that childlike imagination in our lives, couldn't we? Especially in something as serious as yoga. Imagine instead of just you on the mat, it's you and your imaginary friend, cracking jokes, pulling faces, and yes, even farting during the downward dog. So, how about we invite our imaginary friends to our yoga sessions? Just be careful not to fart during the downward dog like you used to do in school. Remember how your imaginary friend always had your back, even when you were the only one who could see them? Now, they can support you in your yoga poses too. Imagine this. You're all set in your tree pose, balanced on one foot, and your imaginary friend is right there holding you steady. Suddenly a gust of invisible wind knocks you off balance. Who do you think is responsible for that? Yes, your imaginary friend. They might be invisible, but their sense of humor is as tangible as your yoga mat. Now let's try the warrior pose. Both feet firmly planted on the ground, one leg bent, arms outstretched. You're feeling strong, invincible even, like a true warrior. But wait, what's this? Your imaginary friend has decided to tickle you. And there you are, trying to maintain your warrior pose while bursting into laughter. Picturing these scenarios may seem absurd, but isn't it also hilariously fun? It's like being a kid again, playing with your invisible buddy. Only this time you're both in yoga pants. You see, yoga doesn't always have to be this solemn, silent practice. It can be filled with laughter, especially when you're practicing with your imaginary friend. Laughter, after all, is a kind of yoga itself. It relaxes your muscles, reduces stress, and increases endorphins. Plus, it's a great abdominal workout. But let's not forget about the infamous downward dog. As you lift your hips towards the ceiling, your imaginary friend decides it's the perfect time for a fart joke. Because why not? You're already in a position that's basically asking for it. The resulting laughter shakes your whole body, making it even harder to hold the pose. Yoga with your imaginary friend is the ultimate multitasking. You're exercising, laughing, and reminiscing about your childhood all at once. It's silly, it's absurd, but it's also incredibly fun. And if you fall out of pose, just blame it on your imaginary friend. They can't defend themselves anyway. Let's take a moment to catch our breath, shall we? Or rather, let's take a moment to catch our imaginary friend's breath. As you sit cross-legged on your yoga mat, eyes closed, you focus on your breathing. In and out, in and out. But wait, what's this? You hear another set of breaths, mimicking yours, but they're not quite right. They're too fast, too erratic. It's your imaginary friend, of course, trying to mess with your pranayama, or breath control. They're huffing and puffing, pretending to be out of breath, and you can't help but chuckle. You try to maintain your focus, to keep your breathing steady, but your imaginary friend's antics are just too funny. They're gasping now, dramatically flopping onto the mat, pretending to be exhausted from all the breathing. You burst out laughing, feeling your abdominal muscles contracting with each hearty laugh. It's the most fun pranayama session you've ever had, and it's all thanks to your imaginary friend's silly sense of humor. So next time you're practicing pranayama and you hear an extra set of breaths, don't be alarmed. It's just your imaginary friend trying to get you to laugh. And remember, laughter is the best kind of yoga. So we've had some good laughs, some questionable yoga poses, and maybe a fart or two. All thanks to our imaginary friends. As we wrap up this whimsical journey, let's take a moment to reminisce on the fun we've had, the poses we've contorted our bodies into, and the imaginary pals who've accompanied us. Who knew adulthood could be this playfully enlightening, right? We began by introducing our forgotten childhood companions into our yoga practice, proving that imaginary friends are not just for kids. They can be our partners in laughter, our guides in relaxation, and our comrades in the quest for inner peace. We've redefined the term solo yoga into something more akin to a party with invisible guests. Then we dove headfirst into the world of multitasking, balancing our bodies and our imaginations, all while trying to maintain a straight face. Remember when we tried the downward dog and ended up in a fit of giggles because our imaginary friend couldn't stop making fun of our form? Or when we attempted the warrior pose only to have an impromptu farting competition? Ah, those were the times. Throughout this journey, we've discovered that incorporating imagination and playfulness into our yoga practice, and into our adult lives in general, can be incredibly rewarding. It not only adds a dash of fun to our routines, but also helps us reconnect with our inner child, reminding us that it's okay to be silly and spontaneous every once in a while. So, as we bid adieu to this session, let's not forget the lessons we've learned. Let's continue to invite our imaginary friends to our yoga mats, to our offices, to our daily commutes. Let's keep embracing the joy of playfulness, the freedom of imagination, and the hilarity of unexpected farts. And remember, if anyone asks why you're laughing during your yoga practice, just tell them your imaginary friend told a joke. They won't dare question it.